I want to make a video about the cycle of the world and how we are actually trapped in it and how it's going in a circle and keeping us in that circle through what we are learning here, and we take those learnings on to right after our death or our coming alive. We're really not dying, we're coming into our spirit and our mind, and because of what we learned here, in that instant before we can actually know what our mind and spirit knows, we make a rash decision off of feeling and choose to do something that we've been brainwashed to do here, instead of making the choice that we can make. But most of us don't realize that there is another choice, or wouldn't realize that there is another choice because of everything we're subjected to here. The biggest problem on this world that stumps our choice is religion and spirituality, because there's always strict boundaries that you have to follow in religion and spiritualities no matter what, which is no mistake. And a lot of people don't agree with everything that they choose to do. But because they're part of the religion or the spirituality, they still go along with it. Even if they don't agree, they still go along and don't choose what they actually want to do, which is all programming to get us ready for when we come out of our body in that instant. And the common thing that they all teach is that there's a heaven above us. There's a heaven that we go to after we die. After we leave our body, we go to a heaven. And I don't believe that is true. I think that's a choice that we can make, but that's a choice they want us to make. That's a choice that Satan wants us to make. Satan is the creator of this world that we are in. Satan is the fake God that watches over us and holds us all here. He wants to be God, so he created this world that we are in. And he is holding us in a labyrinth, a circle that does not end unless we choose to make it end. Because regardless of what he does to us, we always have the choice to do something different, because he can't take away our choice. That's the one thing he cannot take away. And we have to realize that while we are here, because once we come out of our body, it's going to be that fast that we have to make that choice to where we go, which I'll talk about in a little bit. First, Satan is Saturn. Saturn has, I don't know, I couldn't tell you exactly how many rings. I'm sure they have a number that they put on it. But Saturn has a ton of rings around the planet. It has way more rings than any other planet, which is indicative to all the circles that we are in and have been in on this world. There's, I don't even know how many, but when you look at a picture, there's like thousands of rings, millions possibly, of rings going around Saturn, which is Satan himself, right in our solar system. And it also, the rings, if you look at it the other way, it's the iris, kind of, to the eye, with the pupil in the middle, the all-seeing eye in the sky. We are trapped in a world that he created. We are in a prison, a net, a box, the black box, the cube. We're trapped in the cube. There's all different analogies for this, but it all comes down to us being trapped in this world, and we can't just choose to leave when we want, because he's holding us here with our bodies right now. And he might even be holding us after that in our spirit, until enough of us choose to not continue the cycle of the game that he has put around us and has put us into. He really wants to be God, but he's not. There is a God above him. That's where we come from. That's where our connection is, and what we are connected to. That's us, which we need to choose not to go with Satan, which a lot of us do here, and to get back to our God that we have lost because we've been in this cycle for seems like a long time, but in reality, with what our real sense of time would be, which time doesn't exist, it wouldn't seem long at all. But because of the cycle he has created, when we're here on the planet, it seems like we're here forever. But it's really not long. It's so fast, you couldn't even imagine it. And that's why it's so easy to change history here, because it seems like it can be changed over a vast majority of time, but it's really just a short amount of time in the realm where time does not exist. And the way that he's trapping us is through all the programming that's here on this planet, which religion is really the biggest one. That's the main one, because they give out the heaven idea. And if that idea wasn't out there, we wouldn't have that in us to go to heaven when we die. There's a lot of accounts of people when they die, they see a white light, a tunnel that they have to go to, which this is put out there so that we're familiar with what's going to happen when we do die and come out of our body, when we go back to our spirit. I'm sure that this is exactly what happens, because they want us to be familiar with this process so that we do it exactly how they want us to do it. Or he does it how it puts it out, so that we do it exactly how it is going to happen, so that we know it, so that we have that feeling to go to it, knowing that it's going to be paradise and bliss. And on this planet, we're subjected to all different types of programming that takes our choices away. It makes us feel like we need to go to other people to understand things, to figure out things, to get information, to get educated. To do anything on this planet, we feel like we have to go to other people to do all of this stuff, when we don't. Because, first of all, none of it matters. Which, once you realize that, it really becomes easy to start understanding this world and how it works, because this world does not matter. It's a material world that was put into existence to keep us in the spiral for Satan's game. The second thing is, we don't need to go to other people to learn anything here, because we already know all this stuff, because we've been here who knows how many times. We just don't remember. That's why when we look inside for the answers, we figure things out. We can figure anything out on this planet on our own. We don't need anyone to tell us anything or how to do anything. And by them stripping away our choices through all different types of programming, from religion down to food, environment, politics. I mean, it all strips our choices away, what we actually want to do while we're in the world, and how we want to do it, and what we feel about it. It's all an external feeling instead of being an internal feeling. Because when it's internal, you will make the right decision, but they need to turn us external, because that's where the Satan is. It's external. It's not inside of us. Because inside of us is our spirit and our mind. The external is all Satan's world that he has created with us. And once we realize that, we can start making our own choices, which is all it comes down to. We can always make that our choice, no matter how horrible of a situation we are in. We can still make that choice that we know is what we have to make. Even though it might not be the correct thing to do for what's in this world at that moment, but we have to realize that that doesn't matter, because this world is literally put around us to trap us into the cycle. So a lot of things aren't going to make sense within the structure of the world, because this world isn't built for us to understand how everything is created. It's built for us to be confused with how everything is created. You have to take yourself out of the world and forget that the world matters for the most part when you're making the choices that truly matter to you. Because it has to come from you on the inside, not from the world on the outside. And once we start realizing that, we'll be able to make the ultimate choice, which I'll talk about. So once we die, after we've been through our life that we are on this planet right now, we most people, like I was saying a few minutes ago, is they see a bright light, which I believe is exactly what you do see. So you die, you come alive, and you come out of your body. And the first thing we are given is a light where we are being called to come here. They say our name. They do whatever it takes to get us to come to that light, to come into the paradise, the utopia, the heaven that awaits us. Everything that's been promised to us in the religious books is waiting for us in that bright light. But Satan is the light bearer. He is the one that holds the light. He's the one that lights up this world. Why would you want to go to the light? Because you're not making the choice that you know that you should make. You're going off of the feeling that you've been given while you were in the physical world, and it happens right afterwards. So we're not completely aware of everything that we know in our spirit and mind from being here again. We are making a rash decision like we always do. We are reacting right after death, as most of us feel that it is, to go to heaven, because that's where we need to go. And as soon as we go there, we're going to get everything that we wish we had. But while we're getting that, it's going to clear our mind. It's going to make us forget everything because of all of the things that we are going to be able to manifest and have while we're in the world. It's going to have everything that we could ever imagine on this planet and more. And a lot of us will think that that is heaven, that that's where we need to go. And during that huge period of time that we are there, we're going to forget everything about this world, because this world is going to be seem like a distant past to us. Then he sends us right back into the cycle. He takes our soul and our spirit and throws it right back into the hell down here. We go from heaven to hell to heaven to hell to heaven to hell until we choose to make the choices ourselves. And then we come back here and we're born again, and we're going to be born into a new world. It's going to be a new history. Everything's going to be seen different because so much time has passed that history is just completely different at that point. All the books are different. The language could be different. Writing systems could be different. Everything is going to be a different age that we are in. And we're not going to know that we have been here before then. It's going to seem like a new place to us. And we're going to be subjected to the same programming, though. That's the thing that doesn't change, is the programming. Everything around it and how they actually program us will change, but the numbers and the energies behind everything will stay exactly the same. And that's why our mind and spirit will realize this through the cycles that we go in. And that's why we have to make that rash decision right after we die, because otherwise we will come to the understanding that we don't want to keep going back. But because we're put back in the physical world, in the physical body, we don't understand this because that sense, that sixth sense, is ripped apart from us. And we have to go with the physical flow then, our 5 physical senses, which is the same thing that's happening right now. The same thing's going to happen again. It's just going to look different. It's the only thing. We're going to be subjected to the same type of educational programming of some sort. It's all going to be about religion and looking externally. Think about all the movies that are out of all different time periods. They always have religion. There's all types of programming that you see within the world of the movie itself. And it's going to be the same type of thing because that's all that Satan is doing to us. See, he was whitewashing our mind and sending us back to the physical world, programming our physical body and our brain to go to heaven. We die, we choose to go to heaven. He washes our mind, and we just keep going in that cycle. When we choose to go to heaven, that's sending us back to the beginning of the labyrinth. We're starting at the beginning again, and we have to break out of it. And the only way to break out of it is to choose to do what you want. Once you do that, you will start to really realize that this world is not what we think it is. It doesn't even exist. in the true sense of what we know exists. And we have to choose at that moment when that light is there to not go to it, to go somewhere else, to just leave, go the other way with our spirit, which a lot of spirits have done. I believe that those are what they call ghosts. Think of the movie The Sixth Sense, where he can see and feel these people around him. These are the spirits that chose to not go back to the heaven that we are programmed to go to. They choose to be a lost soul until enough of us can get out of the cycle to just tear this place, the whole world down. Because it will all end once enough of us get together with our godly power that we have, because that's where we come from, that this whole entire world will just get torn down by the pure energy that is just emitting from around it. And I absolutely believe that there's a lot of people that have already made that choice. There's a lot of souls here that are floating around just waiting for the rest of us to come to realize this. And that could really be where a lot of our thoughts come from when we relax and take in what's around us, is it allows us to connect with our sixth sense and to really start to understand the world around us. And those souls are communicating with us and letting us know through things that we have seen in this physical world of how it works. Because if they just told us how it works from their point of view, from a spiritual understanding, we're not going to really understand it. It needs to come from a physical understanding for us to really grasp it and understand it, because that's the only thing that we know here. We don't know much about the spiritual realm from this side. So it has to come from a connection of dots of all the different information that we have taken in, which is where most of my thoughts come from, is me putting all the different things that I've seen and watched and read into perspective, into what links together. And I don't sit there and try to actually think of this stuff by how you would think about when you read a book about the story of the book. It's more of I relax and I start to just get ideas that are just full-fledged ideas at one moment that I then think through and understand, which they always relate to things that I've seen recently and not recently. It's a lot of it is stuff that's not even close to stuff that I really don't even remember, but once I realize something, I will remember it because it all comes to me in a connected pattern. That is really why I think all the information is spread all over the place here, is so that we have to look at as many things as possible here to just get the information, then take it and relax and come to our sixth sense. And that sixth sense will put those different dots together for us to really understand what's going on here, which is how I came to this understanding. Which also a lot of this, I believe, lines up with the book or movie. I didn't read the book because I really don't like reading. But I watched the movie of 1984. I'm going to make a video specifically about how I believe this lines up perfectly with what I've seen in the movie. And I'm sure I'll come up with even more movies that have this same type of idea to it. Because if you really think about it, we can't beat Satan from the physical realm. This is the realm he created. We have to go to our mind to defeat Satan. We have to go to the spiritual realm to defeat him, which all it takes is us getting there. Then he's going to go away. We just have to get strong enough to take him down from the spiritual realm. We have to learn while we're here. We have to come to an understanding while we're here so that we can skip past the heaven and go to the spiritual realm with the rest of us to take down the Satan that is ruling over us here. Which I watched the movie X-Men recently, X-Men Apocalypse, which is the same way it happens in the comic books. But Apocalypse is supposedly the creator of the world. He's the false god. He's the Satan. And he came back to recreate the world because he didn't like how it was at the moment. And the only way they defeat him is Professor Xavier actually had to go into his mind to fight him, because in his physical world they had no power. But when they're in his mind, they can defeat him and take him down, because that's where our true power lies. That's why the most powerful X-Men are the psychics. Professor Xavier and Jean Grey, who is the Phoenix, who is the ultimate power in X-Men. That's why the mind is the central point of the whole entire X-Men, if you really think about it. All the other X-Men, they help, but they don't have nearly the effect that either of them have, which is also why Professor Xavier doesn't help on 90% of the things he does, because he would just end it all with the power that he has in his mind. Which is the same thing that we can do once we actually choose to do that. Once we choose to not do what we have been told this whole entire world and go to heaven, and choose to stay here as a lost soul with the rest of our lost souls until we're able to get enough of our mind together to take down this world that Satan has created and get back to the God that we are actually from and a part of. Because we are all from the one being. We're just all separated right now to add to the confusion and to add to the cycle of everything. Without us, this world wouldn't exist. That's why he has to keep us trapped here in this net that we're in right now. One other thing I want to say is, recently when I wake up in the night to go to the bathroom, a lot of times when I go to sleep, I really relax myself and meditate, and I look into the darkness inside of me, the mind, I believe, that's inside of me, which I believe is just the darkness. I usually just fall asleep, and when I wake up a lot of times, I begin to see almost a matrix, a line pattern all around me sometimes now, which at first I thought maybe it was just my eyes, because I don't have good eyesight, that's why I wear glasses. But it's happened to me quite a few times now, and it's an absolute grid pattern that I see, which eventually fades away as I start walking and looking around more. It's not that I'm so necessarily sleeping either, because when I wake up, I'm either up or I'm sleeping. I'm not groggy or anything, which is really because of the food that I eat. Ever since I changed how my diet is, I'm not really tired at all, and it's either I'm sleeping or I'm up. There's really no in between that much, and I really feel like that's the net that is holding us here, the prison that's holding us here, or the matrix, the fabric of the matrix that I'm able to see because I'm looking into my mind when I'm sleeping, and I'm still able to see it when I wake back up a little bit. I can't make myself see it at this point, but I think that we definitely could do that. I think if enough of us actually came to the understanding of how this world works, is that we would just lift up out of our bodies and go to the spirit realm. I don't think that we all need to die to get to our spirit. I think that we can exit our bodies without us dying. We just have to make the choice to do that. And when enough of us do, we're just going to be able to leave our bodies, and this world is just going to go the other way. It's just going to be destroyed. It's going to disappear. It'll probably go back inside of us, because that's where it really comes from. That's why we have to look inside to find our spirit. Which I think that's pretty much all I wanted to say. Let me know how you feel about this, or if you have any ideas or thoughts on it in the comments below. Thanks for watching.